Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we started the Faith Undone priority assignment, which starts out saying that effectively there's a new sect in the Imperial religion, but while it doesn't exactly espouse anti-Imperial sentiment, it could start preaching pro-warp worship and chaos. And some of the words and phrases have psychoactive effects, so I had to intervene. It's strange. But we have learned that the Vox heretical teachings are broadcast by unsanctioned Vox stations. We've triangulated the messages to a decommissioned military complex manned by a defected Astra Militarum detachment. Airstrikes have failed to destroy the Vox towers due to strong counter-battery activity, and we gotta go smack people and shut it down.
You are expected to mark a bunker for an aerial strike. The target is reinforced by anti-aircraft artillery, so you must take out the foot soldiers and guns first, then finish the bunker. All this, taking it in stride single-handedly. Oh, the seemingly pointless.
So I realized something. All this time I've shared, my thoughts on 40K and related games and stuff, but I never really asked what you think. Do you play the tabletop? What races do you play? Do you even care about the tabletop, or are you more focused on the games, the books? You just here for the war? War is what got me into 40K initially. That mixed with a bit of seeing the original Dawn of War in stores when I was younger. I thought it was cool.
Target in sight.
But I always find it interesting to find what other people's motivations are. Because sometimes people, I've found, can be interested in something for reasons I completely didn't expect, or reasons that, kind of fall in line with what I do expect. When it comes to if you're interested in the games, what have you played? Because there's a fair amount out there. There are people who probably got into 40K starting with, Fire Warrior back on the PS2. Or, God, I think there's some PC games that are even older. But they're so old, I feel like they're, for the most part, forgotten. Actually, going with that, when it comes to lore, where do you think the franchise is heading? Because, as it sits, we have the Empire split in half thanks to a giant warp storm. There either is going to be some grand cosmic way of reversing this warp storm so that the entire Empire is united again, and we don't have the Dark Imperium and the normal side that can actually see the light of the Emperor. Or we're kind of heading towards an end time situation where we're going to end up seeing a 40K reboot, much like we had with Age of Sigmar. I could see it just so that they can trim down some lore, stick us with Primaris Marines and sell those from here on in. But I could also see them just trying to keep the existing story arc going. Especially with the, I'd say, fairly negative response people have had towards Age of Sigmar. Or at least the people in my circles who are interested in Warhammer were fairly negative towards Age of Sigmar.
You did a short work of that one, Inquisitor. But there is more.
Death is a journey.
I know Games Workshop would never do it, but I really want to see someone take, like, I don't even know if they actually have them, but a statue of Sigmar as, like, an environmental piece. And so, for Warhammer Fantasy, there was the rogue idols for the orcs. And I'd love to see someone take a Sigmar statue and turn one into a rogue idol, but replace the head with a squig, so that it's Squigmar. I know it's a really bad joke, but honestly, I call Age of Sigmar, to myself and people I know, I refer to it as Age of Squigmar so much that I have to make a conscious effort not to say that normally. Especially when I refer to it in videos, because I get the feeling people will be like, what the hell is Age of Squigmar? And I think it's more creative than just calling it Age of Scumar or any other negative name people give it. Credit where credit is due, though. The terrain pieces for Age of Sigmar look really good. Also, is it just me, or has there been a lack of terrain pieces for 40k? I just feel like there hasn't been a lot of terrain lately. I mean, there was a bunch that came out with the Kill Team sets. But I'm just kind of drawing a blank on anything new. Admittedly, like I had said with the episode where I was asking about music, effectively everything exists in one point or another in 40k, you know, castles and feudal worlds, all the way up to fairly modern, current day cities, to hive cities. So your terrain can be pretty varied, and it would be cool to see some feudal world stuff. You know, castles with the Imperial Eagle emblazoned on them, or just anything like that, I think would be interesting. But at that point, they would have to have some... Knowing Games Workshop, they'd probably want to bundle it with a campaign setting or something. To be like, hey, you want this cool terrain piece? Buy this extra thing. And it would also make more sense, because then it's kind of used as an important set piece. But I don't know. I feel like they could sit here and make just normal, typical 40k looking structures still, because there's so much missing.
Target locked.
I would appreciate vehicle wrecks as something I could buy instead of having to buy a straight vehicle and then wreck it myself. Because it's like, no, I don't want to buy this tank. Just give me a beat up one. Mostly because I'd hope it'd be cheaper, but also because I just like that. I like environmental pieces. You could have, you know, a Titan leg or just little parts like that. Get Craft or Forge World to do it. Craft World. Yeah, get the Eldar to make miniatures. Yeah, get Forge World to do it. Hell, Games Workshop could honestly just use Forge World as like the terrain people if they really wanted. Be like, hey, you know, make your normal stuff a bit, but you want to just do terrain? We'll pay you. Because I'm sure Forge World could do some good stuff. Once again, they've failed to disappoint me so far. I need like 3 skill points. Because I don't even have the aim shots can count as executions. By the time I get it, my null rod is going to be so out of value that it's going to be a waste. But I also just need that skill in general because I use these aim shots so much. So it'll effectively pay for itself, and since it can get an execution, I can just use all the execution buffs and points that I'm slowly feeding into. Kinda regret not having the ranged execution unlocked before doing it, but, you know, mistakes were made. It's just something that would be really good to have. I did a mission between this and the last one, mostly just to level myself, and I ended up getting 2... what was it? It was 2 relic tier? Whatever orange tier is, I can never remember. This is why I rank, or I go by color instead of title. I got 2 orange tier weapons. One was a sword that I was kinda cool with, but also didn't really care. And then I got a las rifle, like a las sniper. And I was super excited for it. It was like, oh cool, I can use that. And then it had the thing of like, oh, enemies within like 10 or 20 meters, you deal bonus damage, but then enemies further out, you deal reduced. And I was like, oh, I'm not touching that. Even though part of the problem is I can't identify range. Is this 10 meters or 20 meters? Is in, out? How far is this? Loading! Because that really would have affected my decision making. I ended up just dumpstering it, but if I knew, that would have been neat. I still love that these mortars are just not. I think they're hydras for the AA tanks. I want to say it's a Hydra, is the AA tank. But the flak cannon's on it. Try that, because the Manicore is the rocket artillery. The Basilisk is the artillery truck. Or not truck, it's just a rolling giant field gun. And then, yeah, I think it's the Hydra.
Loading.
Yeah, just need a little more damage so I can flick between all these heavy guys and flatten them. Because that's what's really slowing me down on these hits. Hey, a null rod. I might equip that actually, because I just have a purple one.
Kill confirmed. Target offline. You are still alive and more or less in one piece. That's a success, I guess. Initiating exfiltration rituals.
Binary and material evidence clearly indicate... Actually, hang on, let's start with this. The resistance seen at the Purge site clearly demonstrates the vile nature of this heresy, more than enough to steal the resolve of any Ordo agent. Binary and material evidence clearly indicates that the teachings originate from a self-proclaimed Underhiver prophet. Okay, so that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot. And if you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.